pain as a piece of fabric from a bed, from curtains, flew against his face, attaching itself with an intimacy that sent him screaming through the door to the snowdrifts, where he plunged his face and his burning hands into the soothing cold. Alex wept, his tears blurring the flames of the burning farmhouse. Uncle Andrew, he knew, must have passed out, lost to the deep sleep of moonshine. Maybe he never woke up. Alex prayed he never woke. The whole building was collapsing now, falling in on itself, except for the staunchest parts of the thick, mudded walls. As it burned like a gigantic brush fire, Alex watched the sparks flying into the black sky. It was hard to tell where the sparks left off and the stars began. It seemed they all danced, the stars and the sparks, to the music of bells, thin, tinny bells like in the English song about Jingle Bells they'd been singing at school. Although it pained him to move, he shifted his position in the snowdrift so that the road to the farm came into view. It was a dark, willow-rimmed tunnel in the night, but something was coming. The sound of the bells arranged themselves in clusters around the movement. Maybe he was not to die after all. There were horses, great heavy-footed beasts, their breath swirling in clouds against the cold, and they were right beside him. If it were possible to move his burned fingers, he could have reached out and touched the hair on the leg of the closest one. Instead, he let his fingers curl in his lap like the claws of a dead crow. Someone was getting down from the sleigh, someone muffled against the cold with wraps, eyes glinting between the borders of scarf and cap. "I think it's that Galician boy," a male voice boomed. "You know, the one that came with his brother a couple of years ago to live with Kaminsky?" "Alexander," another voice, someone getting down on the other side of the sleigh. It had a familiar sound to it. Gordon Wallace. "Oh my God," the voice said. "Dad, he's all burned." The man was kneeling by him now, reaching out, touching his shoulders. "Listen, son, were you here by yourself?" Alex looked in the direction of the fire again. There was not much left of the farmhouse, just the glow of the flames, lower now with less to feed on. He looked back into the man's eyes and shook his head. Even the slightest movement sent a fresh wave of pain along the burned side of his face. He realized he was weeping. He could feel the moisture trickling down the skin on the other cheek. There was a kind of low, animal moaning, like he'd heard once from Uncle Andrew's dog, who'd got caught in a weasel trap. The moaning was coming from his own mouth, his own throat. It turned into a scream as the big man picked him up and eased him into the back of the sleigh. "There, we'll just get this around you." It was something heavy and woolly, with a smell that made Alex think of the kazuk, the sheepskin coat Uncle Andrew wore. "Your brother," the man said. "Was your brother in there too?" Alex shook his head. "Just your uncle?" He nodded. "Gordy, you stay with him. I'm going to give the barn a quick check." In the back of Alex's mind was the wish that he could stop crying, stop the moaning. If his hands didn't hurt so much, he would have made one into a fist and held it against his mouth to stop the sound. Gordon Wallace was leaning over the front seat of the sleigh. "I'm sorry, Alex," he whispered. It sounded like he was about to cry too. In a few minutes the big man was back and climbed into the sleigh. "Gee up," he said, and the sleigh started to move. Sleigh bells tinkled against the last crackling sound of the fire. "What are we going to do, Dad?" he heard Gordon Wallace say. It was a question in Alex's mind, too, but the answer was lost as he felt himself spiraling into blackness. When he came to, the big man was moving him out of the sleigh into something else. It seemed like a small house with a stove inside, a strange sort of carriage-like sled. A woman put a cold